possibly have against fidgeting. Biting my lip, I stopped twisting my sweater and continued to stare out the window. We passed over a bridge while the scenery zipped by in a blur. He emerged onto the highway heading south. The dark waters of the lake looked serene, with its deserted beachfront and piers where no one ventured this time of year. Ari pulled off the highway, taking the Grand Avenue exit, bearing left onto Lower North Lakeshore Drive. "Where are we going?" I asked. "You'll see. I guarantee you it's somewhere you've never been before." He grinned at me, his mega white teeth flashing through the darkness. "I've lived here my whole life. There's not much that I haven't seen," I said, shaking my head. "You'll just have to trust me on this." We continued over another bridge. There were boats in the marina across the road on the left, and buildings loomed overhead on my right. He turned onto East Wacker Drive, and we drove in silence while I tried to sober up. Where is he taking me? He merged onto a ramp, continuing past the Chicago Riverwalk. Its scenic view made me dizzy. When he turned left on Columbus Drive, I held my stomach as he found a place to park. I stepped out of the car, and Ari appeared at my side. His movement held more grace and fluidity than someone human could pull off. His stealthy movements might be unnerving, but I could hack it if I managed not to puke on his boots. I shouldn't have drunk so much wine. He grinned at me, pulling me close to his chest. Ari's lean arms wrapped around me, and he moved me quickly. Suddenly we stood in front of a small chain cafe on Randolph Street. It occurred to me at random that they had really good pancakes. "How do you do that?" "How do I do what?" he asked with a smirk. I blinked and we were somewhere else. I've never seen anyone move that fast. "It's easy. I just manipulated the flow of light and time, bending it to my will." "Oh, right. Like bending time is easy," I said, rolling my eyes. "I hope you're not afraid of heights." He tightened his grip on me. "No. Why?" A current of cold air whooshed around me and we were propelled upward. He landed with cat-like grace on the flat roof of a smaller building in front of One Prudential Plaza. I didn't have time to panic and wonder whether some passerby noticed or not. No sooner did we land than I felt another blast of cold air. He leaped again, this time landing neatly 41 stories to the very top. Moving through the air with such speed left goosebumps on my skin despite wearing a coat. Feeling lightheaded and a little giddy from the drinks we had at dinner, I clung to Ari, trying not to look down. "Ari, what if someone saw us?" He laughed. "Right, like anyone would believe them. That's like believing in alien abductions or those fake celebrity photos you see in tabloids." With everything I'd learned lately, I was starting to think that alien abductions sounded almost plausible, but I didn't argue my point. "I guess you can't believe everything you see," I said with a sigh. "I'm glad heights aren't an issue for you. The view only gets better from here. You'll love it." I looked up at another building behind us and blanched. "You feel okay?" he asked. "Yeah, just a little dizzy." I didn't want to say nauseous. He tightened his grip on me even farther and paused on the top of the building. When I exhaled, I could see my breath on the cold night air. Ari bent his legs, bracing me against him, and then he bounded through the rushing air to the top of 2 Illinois Center. Without effort and with infinite grace, he bounced from the flat surface of its rooftop to balance on the spire of 2 Prudential Plaza. I marveled at how he could balance here with such ease. Looking down, I immediately wished I hadn't, and gasped at the 995-foot drop. Closing my eyes, I tried not to picture my mangled body smashed to bits across Stetson Avenue. He looked down at me with a grin that invited mischief while I wrapped myself around him, clinging to his muscle mass even tighter than before. "Hold on," he said. "Believe me, you don't need to tell me that. Just wait until you see this. It's better than the stars." Ari sprang into the air and landed atop the white granite skyscraper of the Aon Center. I still clung to him, but let go of him abruptly, a little embarrassed that I had wrapped myself around him like a burrito and stepped onto the rooftop next to him. "What do you think?" he asked, beaming at me. "I think you're insane." Ari laughed. It wouldn't be the first time I've heard that. Here, take my hand. He held out his hand and I regarded it with a raised eyebrow. Trust me, he said. Hesitantly, I took his hand, smiling down at our intertwined fingers. He hoisted me toward the edge of the building to show off the remarkable view from all directions. Wow, I said, this is better than the sky deck. Facing south, I could see Grant Park. To the west stood the Loop. The eastern exposure granted a view of Lake Michigan, and toward the north stood the Magnificent Mile, and the Chicago lakeshore added to the spectacular skyline. The lights of the city replaced the twinkling stars. Its manufactured pattern of light looked almost pretty. A full moon cast light on the snow, creating a reflection that illuminated the night. Yeah, wow. You're the first person I brought up here. I glanced sideways at him, all my previous concerns forgotten as I stood with him admiring the view. Something about sharing this little corner of the world with him, a place he hadn't shared with anyone else, felt intimate. It's stunning. I peeked over the edge of the building. I'm not sure about getting down, but this is incredible. So can I consider tonight a date? Yes, you may consider this a date. I suppressed a laugh. When he produced a boyish smile that curved his mouth, I forgot the view. I turned in his arms and looked up at him. He traced a cold finger across my jaw, down my neck, and across my collarbone, barely visible above my suede coat. His touch felt dangerous and exhilarating as we stood on top of the skyscraper. It made me shiver, and I wondered what forever would feel like. He searched my eyes, not in a human response of drawn-out anticipation before kissing someone. His hesitation seemed to gauge whether I wanted him to kiss me or if I felt fear and revulsion. I didn't pull away and continued to meet his eyes. Slowly, he lowered his lips to brush against mine. I met his kiss tentatively at first, then wrapped my arms around his neck, diving into the kiss with a fierceness that surprised me. It seemed like we'd been here before, but my head hurt just thinking about it. Something about spilt coffee on my living room floor and the two of us in my kitchen. Ari deepened the kiss, meeting my embrace with a longing that felt as if it had been building up for centuries. All the pent-up longing, waiting, released a surge, and I broke the kiss in a breathless wonder. Ari looked down at me, and I felt his muscles tense, and his expression darkened. Are you okay? I asked. I'm fine, but I should take you home. I wondered why he suggested taking me home and why his mood shifted after kissing me. Thank you for this, I said, gesturing toward the view of the city skyline. And for dinner. Anytime, but I need you to do something for me. What? When what I really wanted to say was anything. I need you to forget what happened. I took you to dinner, and we were here, but nothing else. I need you to repeat that. Ari spoke without breaking eye contact as he dazzled me. Nothing happened? Wait, what? That's a good girl. Ari wrapped an arm under me, picking me up. My head felt fuzzy. Abruptly, he jumped over 1,000 feet off the edge of the building, with me cradled in his arms. I screamed, as surely this would be certain death. I saw a small indent in the sidewalk, the only indicator of our jump. Through the fog of wine, I wondered again if anyone had seen us. Ari grinned at me while my heart landed somewhere in the pit of my stomach.